Hey guys, today I'm going to go over inflammation and inflammation management with some supplements that Catherine and I are pretty consistent with using. Before I get into that though, understand that these are just supplements and the primary means for fighting off inflammation, whether it's post-training or illness, whatever sort of inflammation you want to talk about at cellular, it's your food. So I'm going to give you these supplement sort of guidances with the understanding that your diet is clean, because if you are eating a bunch of things that's creating inflammation, like processed foods, sugar, seed oils, and things like that, then you really are going to waste your money buying these supplements to try to combat the food, which is largely the issue. So jumping into the supplements, and there's not really a particular order, I guess. And again, understand there's some redundancy in some of these. Like there's some overlap with when we're talking about, like today I just got done having a good leg workout, and so I'm definitely drinking this to combat some of that inflammation in my legs and body and things like that. But you're gonna kind of lay out some of these things for you. So the first one is the Super EPA. This one right here, we're looking at the omega-3 content on this is very high. That's the idea. It has EPA, DHA, all those sort of things on the back of it. And for me, for years now, I've been taking 4 in the morning. I take 4 in the evening with meals. And one really cool thing about this product, as far as the side of like joint inflammation, muscle inflammation, definitely brain and heart, it's going to aid into that. But this product particular right here has been so valuable that it's actually shown up in our blood work. So that's been like a real interesting marker of how high quality these particular supplements are, because in a positive way, these shown up in our blood work, both Catherine and I. The second one is Curcumin phytosome, which is Mariva, or you could say it's turmeric, right? These are the sort of things that's kind of a balance. You might have seen them by different names. And these right here too, I always take 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, or 2 in the evening as well. Again, management of inflammation. One thing to kind of boost this right here is when I take it with breakfast, I've always put a fair amount of black pepper on my eggs. Black pepper and this together really have a symbiotic relationship for fighting even more inflammation. That's the idea, whether it's cellular, it's systemic, whatever you want to call it, inflammation. The next 2 things I always take together, and you see me post about them both all the time, is the Cinequil Plus and the Daily Greens. These right here, specifically this one was developed for post-concussion or concussion, you can't prevent a concussion and things like that. But if you go through these ingredients, again, this is where some of the redundancy that I'm a big believer in is. One of the first ones is leucine. The leucine content, leucine is very, very good for soft tissue repair, right? A lot of inflammation control, things like that. You can go down through here as resveratrol. Again, this is very, very high in DHA. DHA, again, this is very, very widely used for brain repair, DHA. That's the idea is, again, the greens itself, I'm not going to go through this whole listing of things here, but there's an antioxidant blend. That's what we're looking for. Antioxidants, fight off free radicals and inflammation. And there's a whole list of things in here. Again, there's some redundancy in like quercetin. Quercetin is very, very good for that sort of thing. So it's kind of like, you can buy like the individual pills, which I definitely do. If you start getting a nice team of products together, again, some of that overlap exists and there may not be need for redundancy. But understanding why we're doing this too is not just because I want to take supplements, but even when your diet is pretty squared away, and I think mine very much is, because I like to train vigorously, regularly, all the time, as much as possible. That's what we're doing here. And again, is I don't quite have the stressful job that I used to. And that's also the part of it is like, we can't remove the stress of the job when we're talking about the tactical community, especially special operations. So we know that that's going to create stress, right? Internal stress, biological stress, cellular stress. And since we can't remove that, what do? We want to offset that with good diet, We want to supplement these things because we can't remove that, right? And a lot of these folks who want to train hard, train regularly, and that becomes a part of their lifestyle. They don't want to remove that either. Because I'd rather be kind of older and stiffer and still be able to move than just old and bedridden. And that's the idea, is like we want to supplement this because I want to continue to train hard and vigorous. And again, it goes back down to the food, to supplement our food choices. So those two together I take every day, usually about 3 o'clock every day is when I take it. Here's I always make the joke about, do you want a Ferrari or do you want a Lamborghini? I'm not sure which one's a Ferrari and which one's a Lamborghini, but both of these Collagen I do take on a regular basis. I take them both. What's my sort of rationale between taking both? I know where they're both sourced, and they're both sourced from incredibly high, really good places. They're a little bit different in their ingredients, but not really. What I'm looking at these again is the redundancy, is I'm looking at leucine. Leucine is leucine tells me how healthy was the cow that these came from. That's what this tells me. So the leucine on the BUBs is 580 milligrams. They may not sound much to you, but for bovine collagen, that's pretty freaking high. On this guy right here, leucine is 467. Now, if your collagens don't have that on back, then I wouldn't take them, because the reason why that they're on the back is because both of these are NSF for sport. They're certified compliant, no cross-contamination, no banned substances, and it's a guarantee what's on this label is in this product, okay? And that's the big thing about, like I said, Lamborghini or Ferrari, don't really care which one, but they're both useful. I always take one of these after I get done working out, manage inflammation. And I always take one of these before I go to bed to do that while I sleep to help manage inflammation. And one of the coolest things I got is it's been about 8 or 9 years ago. I was privy to go to the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs I was invited to, they invited some of the best strength coaches in the world, 200 were invited. From all over the world, and I was having some real knee pain, and I got a really good conversation with the Norwegian speed skating strength coach, which if you don't know Norway, just look it up. They basically win every time. There's been multiple times where Norway has finished first, second, and third on the podium at the Olympics, and their strength coach uses their collagen with their athletes during training. And we got talking, I was talking about my knee, and he goes, "Hey, you should be taking collagen and for these reasons and this time." And I'm like, well, that dude probably knows what he's talking about. So ever since then, it's about 8, 9 years now, this has been a staple for my diet on a daily basis. And I think that for management inflammation, especially like the sore joints, tendons, ligaments, cartilage, all those stiffnesses that I typically are gonna get and always gonna get in training, they will get much less if you are a consistent user of these products. Last but not least is MCT oil, right? This one right here, specifically, MCT is medium chain triglycerides. It comes from coconut. If you really want to go super nerd and understand how valuable this stuff, look at how valuable this stuff is in the research of Alzheimer's and other things like that. So brain preservation, joint preservation, heart preservation. I believe in India, it's called mother's milk, right? I forget what there's a very particular acid, sodium something acid that's prevalent only in actual mother's milk and coconut oil, right? So we're really talking about a really potential for regenerative abilities, and again, inflammation control and these sort of things, and it tastes amazing. So this is what I use on a regular basis. I spread it out all throughout the day. I obviously don't try to consume it one at a time. I have everything broken up, my meals, my snacks, my post-workout, my pre-bed. And that's the idea. Again, there's redundancy in these, and that's what I like, because the redundancy for me allows me to train very vigorously on a regular basis. And I always tell people, sometimes you may not feel it, but do this. Be consistent with any of these supplements, or a few of them, and then stop taking them. And you will know immediately how valuable they have been. And that's the same thing with creatine and things like that. People are there's so much research behind it, and people are like, creatine, I don't feel it. We're not supposed to feel it until you remove it. And so that's the idea, is any one of these, and like I said, some of these have shown up in our blood in a positive way. So give these a shot, give them a try, manage your inflammation, with these supplements, with your diet. So hope you have just as much success as we do by using these products.